Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing, an inside look at the many facets of work that is happening at the Department of Children and Families, between our staff, the families we serve, and our community partners. My name is Jaqueline Ford. I have had the honor of working for the department for almost 30 years. And although I may be familiar with many of the topics we bring to you, I have invited experts in those fields to help us dispel the myths and misconceptions that can often be barriers to our work. Join us as we open our doors and invite you to have a seat at our table. Welcome to Doors to Hope and Healing. My name is Jaqueline Ford. Today we open our hearts to a young girl named Ariela. Bright, resilient child in search of something that we all deserve, a loving home. Joining me are two extraordinary women who have played a special role in Ariela's life, her clinician, Alyssa, and her mentor, Sana. We also have another extraordinary woman named Barbara Herman, who has spent decades caring for children with complex medical needs. Together, we'll explore what Ariela needs in a family, how love and stability can transform a child's future, and why your heart, or someone you know, might just be the answer for her. Thank you for being a very important part of this conversation. Alyssa and Barbara and Sana, thank you all so much for being a part of our show today. Sana, you're an old friend to the show. You've been on before. Before we get started talking about Ariela and about how to become a foster or adoptive parent, I'm just going to start by having you each introduce yourselves and just share a little bit about yourselves. And we'll start with you, Alyssa.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Alyssa Axelrod. I'm a licensed clinical social worker with DCF's Solnit South PRTF facility. That stands for Psychiatric Residential Treatment Facility.
Okay, and you're the clinician for Ariela,
Yes,
right?
I'm the clinical social worker for Ariela.
Wonderful. And Sana?
And my name is Sana Cotton. I am the founder of Unashamed Inc., which is a nonprofit organization located in Middletown, Connecticut. And I am also Ariela's mentor.
Wonderful. And Barbara?
I'm Barbara Herman. I'm a medically complex foster adoptive parent, and I've been doing it for 23 years.
Wow. And you are out of Region 5, which is the Waterbury region,
Yes.
right? Well, welcome. And it's wonderful to have you on. I've been trying to get you on for years.
Thank you.
So I'm so glad that you're finally on. Okay, so let's have the conversation about Ariela. I really want to spend, this segment talking about what this child needs in a home, in a family, so that maybe one of our viewers or someone who is watching this on social media or on the Nutmeg TV website can really learn about this little girl, or she's a teenager now, but just to see what they can offer to her. So let's start with Sana. From time to time, you're mentoring Ariela. What stands out to you the most about who she is, her personality, her interests, because you've gotten to know her in a different way than in a clinical setting?
Right. She is first off, she's resilient. She's very resilient. She's very mature as far as her feelings and being able to kind of communicate, her feelings. Once she gets comfortable with you, she can really articulate it well. She's very self-aware. She's self-aware of, what her current situation is. She's very accountable to anything that she's done in the past that has kind of, bad decisions. She knows, that she has done some things also that weren't great, but she is ready to start over. And she really just needs a family that's going to be able to accept that. I will say that, we go out and we get to go to the movies and we get to go shopping and we get to just do the fun things that kids, like to do, teenagers like to do. And it's really, I've seen her really blossom in those community settings. She's not always used to them. In the beginning, she used to be a little nervous about going out into the community and being around a lot of people, but she's really blossomed, and she's funny. She's really a sweet girl.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet Ariela. We had a prom for some of the Solnit girls, and she was dynamic. She was beautiful. And can you tell us how old she is? I don't think we've mentioned how old Ariela is.
She's 15. She'll be 16 in a few months.
Okay, and what grade is she in?
I'm not sure. What grade is she in? She's in high school. We know that.
Yeah, it would be the high school, and she's being educated, getting her academics while she's at Solnit.
Credit-wise, she's 10th on the verge of 11th grade, so
Okay.
right on track.
Okay, perfect. And that's good to know for our viewers. So Alyssa, clinically speaking, how would you describe her emotional and developmental profile?
Ariela has been with us for about 12 months, and Solnit is a 4-month program. Over the time with us, she has learned so much about herself. She's, like Sana said, so much insight into herself and her mental health. She's learned great coping skills and strategies to manage situations. She's learned activities that she didn't even know she liked. And she's learned how to form healthy and safe relationships, which was something that she really struggled with when she came to us.
And what are some of the activities that she may have discovered that she likes that she didn't know that she even, had never tried before?
One of the main ones is photography.
Oh, great.
She really enjoys the photography and scrapbooking. And another one is writing. She is really an avid writer, and her poetry is absolutely beautiful.
Wow. And I know before we end today, we have a letter from
Yes.
Ariela that we're going to read so the viewers can really get a sense of who she is. But I mean, those are beautiful arts, from the photography to being, a prolific writer. What are some of the ways she expresses herself to communicate her needs? Would you say that through photography and through writing?
She's able to express her emotions through writing. A lot of times she really struggles with using her words. That's always been something that she's had challenges with, although she's making a lot of progress here. So she'll use her writing, she'll journal, she'll write poetry about her emotions. She's even said that one day she'd like to be an author, write a novel, or even a cookbook.
Wow. Well, I'm sure she has quite a story to tell.
Yes.
And she likes cooking? Is that
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she does. And has she had an opportunity to cook?
There's not a whole lot of opportunities at Solnit, but her DCF social worker has been doing a great job. We're actually getting her involved in a cooking camp this summer, and I know they're exploring some opportunities for her to get her Serve Safe license.
Wow. To any of our viewers watching, if you would like more information on Ariela after the show airs, you can email Melissa Kumar, it's MELISSA.Kumar, KUMAR, @ct.gov. So Sana, has Ariela responded to having a consistent adult like you in her life? What was that, when you first met and you first decided that, you were going to mentor her? What was that initial relationship like?
It's interesting. I first met her at Solnit because our organization did some programming at Solnit. And so initially when I met her in the group setting that we were in, I think she had just kind of gotten over to that side of Solnit. So she was still kind of not taking it very serious. And then we ended up kind of leaving, finishing our program, our time there. And then I was asked to be her mentor. So when I realized who it was, that it was Ariela, I'm like, oh, okay, I already know Ariela, like that's no problem. But it was interesting because in the beginning, she was very kind of like hard, just kind of putting up a wall and all the things. But since we've been building a relationship and really been able to kind of, be consistent and really talk just about a lot of the hard stuff that she's facing as far as like looking forward for her future and what that looks like and what she wants it to look like, she's really opened up a lot. And so she's constantly saying like, when I leave Solnit, you're still gonna be my mentor, right? Like you're not leaving me. And I'm like, nope, I'm not leaving you. Where you go, I'm gonna go. So I think that makes her feel very secure to know that she's building a relationship with someone who's going to be there with her through the ups and the downs.
Sure, that's so important for her to have that stability. And you're probably making such a beautiful connection and you're close. It shouldn't have to end.
Right, and it's a good connection. And Alyssa and I talk like every week to make sure that she's on track, she's being safe, she's doing all the things she's supposed to do, so that when we go out for our outings and stuff, it's more like it's a celebration, it's a congratulations, you're doing good, you're making the right choices, and so we have a lot of fun together.
And that normalcy that someone of her age should feel outside of the walls of Solnit.
Right.
Alyssa, without getting into private details, what are some of the core reasons Ariela's in care, and what are some key, emotional or therapeutic supports that she could benefit from?
So Ariela's been through so much trauma in her life, way more than a 15-year-old should have to go through. So that trauma has caused her to make some unsafe choices, and those unsafe choices led her to be removed from her home.
Okay.
She is getting a lot of therapeutic supports at Solent. The different things we've noticed that really work for her is she's benefiting from our clinical programming. So we provide individual therapy and clinical groups. She's also benefiting from our rehab program, which is the photography, jewelry making, different sports, learning how to use her skills in a good way. And she's benefiting from her mentor, Sana. She's doing a great job. She looks forward to you every day. And she's also involved with Love 146.
Okay.
So she has a worker that comes to see her.
And do you want to just talk a little bit about Love 146?
Oh, yes.
And you don't have to get into the whole, mission and values of that nonprofit, but just what is their focus?
Their focus is to help teens that are at risk of exploitation. So kids that may be involved in human trafficking or risky behaviors that could potentially result in that.
Okay, yeah, and they're another wonderful program. We've had their support on our show as well. So Barbara, I have not forgotten about you over there. As someone who's cared for many children with unique needs, what do you think people misunderstand most about fostering someone like Ariela? I know that, you're medically complex, but you've fostered and adopted teens, and you have teens right now. What do you think the misconception is when your viewers are watching?
I think people think that they can't be reached, that they're too old to change. And that's not the case. They need more, I think, attention than a young child, but they can give so much more to the family that adopts them. They're more independent, they can do more things. With infants, they require 24-hour care. Even with my medically complex kids, they require 24-hour care. But with a teen, they're able to be more like, how do I say it? They can be more cooperative. They can be more like a companion, to be able to talk to them, to be able to reason with them, to enjoy things with them that you couldn't necessarily enjoy with a young infant. They're more on your level. And it's great to see because, I enjoy going out with my teens. That, we can do so much more. I enjoy my babies, but the teens you get to do a lot more things with. And it's so enjoyable.
Yeah, and they need what you have to offer to them. That's for sure. What kind of parenting style, in Barbara being a foster parent and you looking for a foster care placement for Ariela, what kind of parenting style would be most supportive of Ariela?
Most importantly, she needs to be in a home where the family wants to participate in activities with her, to be a part of her treatment, to be a part of her life, do the things that she likes to do. As far as parenting, she would really benefit from a family that can provide the structure and consistency, love and understanding, and really have age-appropriate expectations. She has been through a lot in her life. She really struggles with trust. Somebody who can be patient with her.
Because it'll take some time to build that trust. And speaking of that, with you, Sana, as her mentor, what kind of family do you feel would help Ariela to flourish?
I think everything that Alyssa just said is like right on target. One thing that she said to me recently, because she and I we talk about just everything. So she'll like ask like, "What are your kids up to? What are they doing?" And I'll talk to her about that, and she'll notice like. Yeah, I remember when I felt that way too, like I didn't really appreciate my grandmother, I didn't appreciate, my mom, or she'll say things like that, and she's like, I wish I could go back, right? I wish I could go back and I could change some of the things that I did. But one thing that she said to me that sticks with me to this day is she said, I wish that whatever family I end up with can look past what is written on the paper of the 13-year-old version of me when I first entered care, and really look at who I am today, and love me for who I am today. And that was really powerful, because I think that a lot of kids in care, people look at what's written on the paper, what their history has been, and they don't really give them a fair shot of the work that they've done, the steps that they've made to really make a difference. And so for her to acknowledge that and to say, you know, that's something that's important, is that you can look at me and see me for who I am today, not for the mistakes and the decisions that I may have made in my past.
Wow, that's so powerful.
That's important.
Yeah, that is so important. And Barbara, you know, what do you look for in yourself or others when deciding whether to say yes to a child who needs a foster or adoptive home?
I have a very difficult time saying no. I have to say that. I listen to what they have to tell me, but in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, we can do this. You know, our family can do this. I have my husband that's very supportive. We have a new foster child, and my girls are very supportive of him. I really think that I go into it with expectations that things are going to do well. I don't look at the past. I do look at what they need or what they've medically, especially. But I look past that and think, okay, what can we do to help? And
which is what I think that Sana and Alyssa are saying, you know, about Ariela, is that somebody who wants to really be an integral part of her every day. Not, you know, I mean, not to say that foster parents shouldn't always do that, but you know, when a child longs for that, you know, a lot of times a teenager is very independent and they want hands off and they want their independence. But it sounds like from what you're telling me about Ariela and the relationship, Sana, that you have with her, that she likes that connection and she likes to have that relationship with adults. And you know, there's going to be that test period where, you know, the honeymoon phase, and especially if she has a difficulty with trust. But I think that, you know, Barbara, what you have offered to countless children who've come into your home is not having that expectation. No expectations, no judgment. You know, your home is that safe space for them to continue to explore. Alyssa, if a prospective family is watching, so if we have a viewer who's watching, what kind of training or resources could they expect to receive to support a child like Ariela? And Barbara, I'm going to have you add in about the foster care licensing process.
A prospective foster family should expect to get support from both the DCF area office and from the therapeutic foster care agency that's involved. They'll provide extensive training on trauma and how to fix kids and the best way to work with kids who've experienced complex trauma. Once they are licensed, they will have support of the therapeutic foster care agency and the DCF worker. The foster care agency will provide in-home therapeutic supports and case management for involving community resources or even helping the whole family get into activities.
So, you know, for our viewers who are watching, and sometimes, you know, because we all walk the walk every day as far as the language with DCF, what is a therapeutic foster care agency? So Ariela's case manager, she has DCF involved, but she also has a therapeutic foster care agency that's supporting her. What's the difference between the two?
So, the DCF area office is more focused on child protection, making sure kids in the community are safe. When when a youth comes into foster care, they are often placed with a foster family, and DCF can sometimes manage those homes. They're called core homes. But if a child has complex needs, whether medical or emotional, then they will have a therapeutic foster agency come in that specializes with kids that have extra needs. And so her organization is Wheeler Clinic.
Okay. Well, you answered that beautifely, and you didn't even know I was going to ask you that question. And that's exactly what a therapeutic agency does. You know, they provide that extra support for kids like Ariela. Sana, has Ariela ever shared with you what she dreams of in a family or a home, and how she would define that belonging?
Yes, she absolutely wants a family that's going to support her in cooking. That's very important for her. That's going to, you know, just be supportive of her future and what she really wants to do in life. And someone that is going to be active, like Alyssa said, but also I think a family, it's going to be important that they are also supportive of Ariela's relationships with her biological family, because they're still very important to her and she's still navigating what that looks like. But it's going to be important that whatever family steps up to take Ariela also realizes that beyond just loving Ariela, they're going to need to love her extended family, because that's really important to her.
And who in her extended family are they visiting with her and having this relationship with her?
Yeah, specifically her mom and her grandma. Like, that's just really important for her.
And I think that's a key point to note for any of our viewers watching. You know, the family, the child's family is just, you know, crucial. And just because they can't live together doesn't mean that they don't have this, you know, incredible bond. Alyssa, what do you think is possible for Ariela with the right family as far as her healing and her continued growth?
Honestly, with the right family, her potential is limitless. She really can do anything that she puts her mind to. As far as, you know, what she can do, from day one coming to Solnit, she said, I just want to be a normal teenager. I want to go to school. I want to go have a job. I want to go hang out with friends. I want to do sports. And that's what we want for her. As far as healing, I know we've talked about trust with her, and trust is paramount. She really needs to have trust in the family. She builds up these walls that are hard to take down. So a family with patience is needed. She said it to me a few months ago. She said that, I know I pushed you away, but I swear I'm worth it.
Oh my gosh, it just gave me goosebumps.
She has
So
such insight.
Ariela's ready now, right? So she's ready she's ready. She's ready. So we're hoping that, you know, one of our viewers, you know, finds it in their heart to want to explore more about Ariela. Barbara, if you could say one thing to a person, someone who's, you know, single, or, you know, as we know, as a foster parent, you could be married, divorced, single, gay, lesbian. We completely support people to step forward to be a resource for our kids if they're able to do that, and we provide the training and the support. But from your perspective, if you could say one thing to a person thinking about fostering a child like Ariela, from the heart of someone who's done this work for years, what would you say?
I would say it is so worth it. I mean, my kids that I've adopted are my life. I mean, they're all individuals. They all have their issues, but as a family, we come together. You know, well, if I go somewhere, all my kids come. I feel like mother hen with the ducks behind me because they follow in a row.
Yeah, and you have been just an incredible, you know, resource for our department and for all those children that you have served and loved and opened your home to. You know, as we're a closing call to action, in one sentence, can you finish this thought? And I'll give you each an opportunity. Ariela deserves a family who? Alyssa.
She needs a family that will stick with her through the good and bad, the ugly. She's going to make mistakes, because we all did when we were 15 years old. She needs someone that's going to hear her out even when she's wrong. And she just needs someone to be there for her, to understand her, to hold her hand.
Wonderful. Sana?
I would say the word I would use is unmovable. A family that is unmovable, that no matter what happens, you're going to stand 10 toes down to support her.
Thank you for that. And Barbara?
I think they need to be very understanding and loving, because it sounds like she needs a lot of that. And to be willing to, like you said, embrace the family, so that they can all come together and heal.
Yeah, that's perfect. Before I get into my closing, I want to give you an opportunity to read that letter that she wrote. Yes. So can you read that letter?
Of course.
To our viewers? And this was written by Ariela with the you know, understanding that people would be hearing what she is feeling.
Yes, she definitely wanted to say here.
Okay.
So, Ariela is a 15-year-old Hispanic and Black female. She became part of the system in 2023 at the age of 13. Ariela has gone through very hard and traumatic points in her life, yet she knows resilience. She got put into foster care because of unsafe actions, but she has grown in many, many ways and no longer struggles with self-control. She is fluent in Spanish, kind, smart, mature, and talented. Her favorite color is blue, and she loves being outside. She loves hanging out with her friends. She enjoys going to the mall and shopping. Her favorite thing is to collect our sneakers, and yes, she does love her sneakers. She enjoys expressing herself with her hair, piercings, and nails. She loves to cook and wants to be a culinary artist in the future. She is very helpful around the house. She also loves dad jokes. These are all great things about Ariela, but she is even greater when you meet her.
Wow.
That is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It is. And I hope, again, for one of our viewers, or more than one of our viewers who may be interested in learning more about Ariela, I encourage you to email her social worker, melissa.kumar@ct.gov, and that information will also be on the screen. But before we close, I want to take a moment to recognize you, Barbara, whose heart, compassion, and unwavering devotion to children, you've touched so many lives. And you have said yes to hard calls, and you've opened your home and your heart time and time again, and you don't say no. Today we want to give you something, not just for you, but for a special boy in your care, for Josh, who's never experienced that simple joy of a bike ride. So we want that to change. This adaptive bike is for Josh, so he can finally feel the wind on his face and the sun on his skin and the joy of a ride safely alongside someone who loves him.
Oh my God.
And I thank you for giving him the life that you have.
Oh, thank you. I don't even know what to say. Thank you so much.
Well, I think it's incredible that you want to ride a bike. And you have this bicycle that there's some pieces that still need to be put together. One Simple Wish has made this possible for you.
Thank you so
to have
much.
this bike. And I look forward to seeing pictures and seeing Josh on that seat that's on the back of that bike.
Thank you. I can't even express how much I appreciate this.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So before we close today, Ariela couldn't be with us today, and she wrote this letter, and we've talked so much about her and her life. And there's just nothing more powerful than providing a home and love and consistency and just being in that for the long haul with one of our kids. So if somebody is watching today and it's in your heart to just learn more about Ariela, make that call, an email. You can call 1-888-KID-HERO, or you can email her social worker, and that email will be on the screen. I thank you for watching and inviting us into your home. Have a wonderful night.
Nutmeg TV has been providing community television for over 30 years. We needed some studio upgrades, and Ion Bank believed in us. As a result of Ion Bank's financial help, we've been able to help others move on in a field that's difficult to get experience in. You're working with partners who understand who you are, and Ion Bank does that. They walk with us every day. It's community banking at its best.
Step into our store and discover a stunning array of dancewear. Introducing Dancingly Yours, your one-stop shop for all things dance and delight for ages 2 to 92. From tiny tutus to energetic tap shoes, our store is a treasure trove of dance essentials. At Dancingly Yours, we offer an extensive collection of dancewear and accessories that cater to all styles and levels. We carry top brands and the latest fashion trends. From ballet to hip-hop, lyrical to jazz, ballroom to liturgical, as well as gymnastics, you'll find the best selection right here at Dancingly Yours. But we're not just a store. We're a community that celebrates the joy of dance. Our expert team is passionate about dance, just like you. So we're here to assist you in finding the perfect fit. And the best part, Dancingly Yours offers competitive pricing in-store and online. Dancingly Yours, easy to get to, and worth the trip from anywhere, right on Route 10 in Plainville.